Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40k universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about the Dark Eldar as we get into the Shadowfield. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40k content every single day. And if you have any requests, just comment down below. But with that said, let's get into 40 Facts on the Shadowfield. A Shadowfield is an arcane Dark Eldar device that creates a defense that is virtually impossible to pierce, projecting a dark miasma of energy around the wearer. The field is proof against almost any attack, and the warrior within cannot be easily targeted. Shadowfields date from the hedonistic years prior to the fall. In those days, the webway was a grander structure than the shattered tangle it has become. But even then, there were dark places, half in, half out of the benign Alandrak. It was from here that the Nasario crystals were harvested, shorn from the walls of the collapsing paths. As a result of their unique genesis, Nasario crystals are essentially shards of universal fundament. They are incredibly hardy and almost impossible to destroy. That said, a sudden flare of energy can sate a crystal's appetite for energy, temporarily dispelling the shadow field it generates and leaving the bearer without protection. Many pre-fall Eldar profited from their kinsfolk's descent into debasement, but none more so than Drael Malkorvin, an information broker and a spy master. He knew every secret, every weakness, and he knew how they could be exploited. Malkorvin never acted personally in these matters, of course, for his actions had made him many enemies. Instead, he left such interdictions to his agents. These were known as Senendrals, or Nightblades, for each bore darkness as both weapons and cloaks. Protected by the shadow fields of Malkorvin's design, the Nightblades spread across the Eldar Empire and deep into the barbarous space beyond. Some of the Senendrals were too ambitious to be truly trusted. However, those who betrayed Malkorvin quickly learned that their master had kept a few secrets of the Shadowfields to himself. Such was Malkorvin's will that he could command a Shadowfield to collapse, no matter how distant from him the bearer was. Thus did many a traitor's meet his end, as his cloak of darkness slipped away, leaving them defenseless. For centuries, Malkorvin sat at the center of the web of intrigue and influence, a shadow empire whose darkness corrupted all it touched. By the time of the fall, at least 1,000 worlds lay under his direct control, and it is impossible to say how many others were so thoroughly infiltrated by his agents that only a veneer of independence remained. He did not do it for riches or substantial power, for he preferred the challenge of manipulating events from behind the scenes, plucking at the strings of his web until they made a tune pleasing to him. Then one day, Malkorvin disappeared. Perhaps he saw the looming danger of the fall. Perhaps he simply sought a new challenge. No one knows. Whatever the reason for Malkorvin's absence, the Senendral quickly fell to fighting amongst themselves, and the Shadow Empire collapsed. Many of Malkorvin's shadow fields endured where the Senendral did not. Eventually they found their way into the auction market of Kamara, where they were reworked into new and more splendid forms. To this day, many of the Archons are ignorant of the history of the gems they wear, reveling only in the protection that they offer. A few still know the story of Malkorvin and employ their shadow fields warily, though none of them will admit it. Malkorvin cast a long shadow, even millennia after his disappearance. Venture deep enough into Low Kamara's dark alleys, and you will hear tales of how Malkorvin is not as dead as many think, and that he dwells in a tower of nightmares deep in the webway. If this is true, if Malkorvin escaped the horrors of the fall and endured through the millennia that followed, then it must have been some dire purpose, and it can only be a matter of time before he emerges from the shadows. On that day, those who bear his shadow fields may discover there is a price for the protection they offer, a price they may not be willing to pay. And those were 40 facts on the Shadow Fields. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, guys, comment down below, give us more suggestions. We're trying to keep it varied as far as like what type of lore videos we put out. We haven't talked about the Dark Eldar in a while, so I figured this is a nice, short, sweet lore story. While I still recuperate, you guys would enjoy this one. So comment down below if you have any more Xeno lore or just any other type of lore that you guys would like us to talk about. Comment down below. If you guys like what we do and you want to support us a little bit more, jump on over to Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos. And if you can't, we understand. Simply by liking, commenting, and sharing, it helps out the channel. But with that said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.